What's up, everybody? Welcome to today's video. Welcome to the channel. Thanks for stopping by. Wanted to take some time to break down some more information for you, especially if you're getting into this crypto space. Another company that I just really love the more that I deep dive into it, and we're going to go over that in today's video. And that company is Vector Space AI. So get settled in on this lovely Sunday evening. Hopefully you guys had a great weekend. It's actually been really busy for me. My business had multiple new clients putting in offers on homes, so it was quite busy, but now I'm getting a chance to share some of this research that I've done, and just to kind of update on where things are with the overall company. And now I got in on this, to be fully transparent, I got in on this, oh goodness, probably 4, 5, 6 months, 7 months ago now at this time. I don't remember the exact date, but you know, it's definitely been very volatile recently. But again, this is a company rather that I want to hold long term. You know, like my investing thesis is that, you know, by the year 2025 we're going to be at like 25 to 50 trillion dollars overall, and then by like 2030 we're going to be at $200 trillion overall in the market. So for a company like this, where they are getting into where the future is going. All right, so without further ado, let's just dig into it. Let's get into it. What is Vector Space? Ticker symbol VXV. Basically, they are a company that you see right here, on-demand correlation matrix data sets. You're like, Dylan, what the heck does that even mean? Hidden relationship detection and data and training in artificial intelligence systems. So let's just start with their mission, and I'm going to break it down and show you some interesting articles and just kind of what I've discovered and my analysis on it. Essentially, you see right here, this quote, the next big breakthrough in AI will be around language. So right now, the problem is you have big institutions, you have big hedge funds, you have big companies that have data and private proprietary data, but they just don't really have a way to, like, they're all siloed. It's all like separated. There's no way to like aggregate that data or examine and correlate that data and find out like what's similar between this silo of data and that silo of data. Maybe there's a way using artificial intelligence, neurolinguistic processing, machine learning to analyze all this for us so that a human doesn't have to. We'll be able to find correlations now that before you wouldn't have been able to find, that can help you, say, for instance, find a cure for diseases, especially with everything that's going on with the variants and all that. It could help hedge funds predict where market data is going and how different trends are cropping up. So their mission is essentially, they treat that data as, like they say, the new oil. While data might be the new oil, the data set is the refined gasoline that powers every machine learning and AI operation. So going into the future, companies that are fully in on AI, and Vector Space, VXV, they're leading the way. They don't really have very many other competitors in this space, and they are years ahead of their other competitors. We focus on context-controlled NLP, NLU, which you see right here is natural language processing and understanding, and feature engineering for hidden relationship detection and data related to space biosciences. I said that weird. And data related to space biosciences. Our platform powers advanced approaches in AI and ML, which is machine learning, using experimental and formal language models, including well-known models, as they say here, OpenAI's GPT-3, which is, I guess, a language learning model. This is like their proprietary or some of their other models that they built their algorithms on top of. And there you see right here, even combined with experimental methods developed at Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory. That is a very large private, well, not private, but the very large research institution here in the country. They may be private, I'm not sure. They're just large, so they're important. Our platform powers research groups in space biosciences, along with data vendors, funds, and institutions by generating on-demand NLP, NLU correlation matrix data sets. So they just essentially allow different companies, hedge funds, like I said, that they allow them to now take their data that they have, or even new data that they don't have access to. So as you get the token and as you pay the service fees to use and tap into their algorithm, you now have access to other data sets other than your own, other than yours own as a company. So you can take your data set and pool and use it, but you can also use other companies as well. So you can really like find out and see correlations that could help you profit or come up with a new idea or be ahead of a trend. So right here, it's not magic. At our system's core, as you see in near real time here, you'll notice we're processing information such as peer-reviewed scientific literature as it's published by the minute from the National Library of Medicine, along with other news and information sources, a lot of other sources. We then process this data by modeling it with a combination or ensemble of language models, including, as you see here, the names of those models we've already done. So they're going to take this right here. It's backed by patents. Our proprietary algorithms are based on variants proven within advanced natural language processing and understanding application. These variants are based on patents our team has invented. This is why they're ahead of their competition, including a system and method for generating a relationship network. So that's really interesting. Algorithmically generated data sets, empowering retail traders and investors of all kinds. So some of the use cases can be for like hedge funds, retail traders. You see here, one of our goals is to provide retail traders and investors with advanced tools used to trade the financial and crypto markets in new ways. Hello, it makes it easier for you to make money. Vector space context controllable correlation matrix data sets can be used to create what we call thematic baskets. So they take like different sectors of different cryptos or different sectors of even stocks, and you can say like, all right, this is semiconductor, this is for entertainment, this is travel, and you can combine those into so different companies are going to fit into each of those different categories. It's like that on the stock market, but in crypto, it used to not be that way, but now it is. When the market's big enough, you have different like baskets and categories. So that's what this allows you to understand. That, all right, well, let's just say there's the variant hit, and boom, now all of that's being released. I'm just using this as an example. That was released, and then now airlines got shut down. So that might, hey, if you know that this negative news happens and how these might be the industries that it will impact, you can pull your investors, or even like if you're an asset manager, you can pull your clients' money, move it around from basket to basket. So because you have that data that your competition doesn't have. So you see right here, these are groups of assets such as equities or cryptocurrencies that share known and hidden relationships with one another in the context of a global event, theme, or topic. So detecting these hidden relationships between equities and global events and all that based on sympathetic, symbiotic, parasitic, or latent entanglement. So regardless of what that relationship is, we're going to be able to know what that is. So that's really interesting. I'm going to break this down here. This gives it a little bit. This is shout out to CryptoPays on Twitter. CryptoPays here. What is vector space? This breaks it down a little bit more simple here in layman's terms. You see here, vector space provides high-value correlation matrix datasets to give researchers the ability to accelerate their data-driven innovation and discoveries using patent-protected NLP. We've already talked about that. Basically, their clients save time in the research loop by quickly testing hypotheses and running experiments with higher throughput. Vector space AI originated in the Life Sciences Department of Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory, where the founders developed patents that drive the company's innovation. So basically, you have to have the token as well, though, because if you need the token to access the data sets. The token can be used to pay for subscription to access vector space AI services, although customers can also pay for these with USD, ETH, or BTC. So you can pay for the subscription with the token, but beyond the payments, you see the token's wallet address serves as an API key for the distribution of data sets. So that's how it connects to their system. From a software engineering standpoint, wallet addresses function exactly the same way API keys. So basically, it says this allows the distribution of data sets to be seamless and allows our customers to utilize the highest level of data integrity. And finally, and arguably most important, the token is utilized in the data provenance pipeline. So again, that's how you're basically accessing other data. You're accessing, you see here, the data provenance. Data lineage and provenance is important. Our data provenance pipeline hash controls data lineage. Knowing where your data comes from and knowing how reliable it is extremely important. Is extremely important, especially in the areas of bioscience and financial institutions that rely on robust data to make billion-dollar decisions every day. Exactly. So that's another reason of what the token does. So essentially, their algorithm looks at data to find all the similarities, and that can be in many different types of businesses. So literally, you see over here, the algorithm generate millions of data set permutations in real time. That's more than any human could do. So like I said, you see right here, hedge funds. They can i.e. make money or generate or protect alpha on the long and short side with traditional and crypto markets. For instance, hedge funds would use it to monitor stock prices. If vector space AI finds it when X stock price rises or falls, Y and Z also fall. The fund manager can then react before that happens to avoid losing money. So that's amazing. Similarly, for pharmaceutical company, vector space AI could identify hidden and non-hidden relationships between the effects of drug compounds on certain conditions. So basically, information can show that drug X, which is used to treat a condition, actually has benefited many patients with different conditions, or just as importantly, has a poor outcome for patients with certain conditions. So in effect, sort of like the currency baskets and the theme baskets, it creates a smart basket that gives companies huge early advantage, which is basically known as information arbitrage or alpha. Certain companies are going to be ahead. They're going to be able to know how to pivot, maybe get ahead of a trend, pull their money. Like it's really a game changer if you think about what something like this here does. Here's an article from Cointelegraph saying vector space AI flies under the radar to new highs as big data becomes the new oil. This is from pretty much a month ago, maybe about 5 weeks ago. High-level partnerships and a focus on using artificial intelligence and big data to find solutions to complex problems are backing VXV's quiet climb to new all-time highs. Now, right now, we'll talk about price here in a few minutes, but they're essentially they've been really volatile. Like I said, they've definitely been volatile, but just with everything that they're doing with building out these correlation matrix data sets, it's going to really be interesting. And do you see right here, they tweeted about this: uncovering disruptive forces to stocks using natural language processing. Industries such as precious metals, regional banks, airlines, agriculture, and utilities are set to experience disruptive innovation. This is going to be massive. This is the article on ETF Stream right here from just a few months ago, back in September. Every investor has wished at some point, whether they admit or not, they've had access to a crystal ball that they could foresee the future. Well, VXV basically lets you have the closest damn thing to having a crystal ball if you're an investor. So this is, like I said, no other companies are really even do this. I watched VXV's recent AMA, which is the Ask Me Anything, with their CEO, and he had mentioned a couple of their other competitors, and no one's doing what VXV is doing. So it's really interesting that they're focused on the research and development. They're focused on innovating. They're focused on finding and using data that we already have just to build out things that can improve every aspect of our life. You see the introduction of natural language processing. The use of applications constructed via natural language processing, NLP, is present in almost every aspect of our lives, from Google searches to Netflix recommendations. So this is just going to allow these companies, you can guarantee that companies like Google and Netflix would be getting in on something like this. So they're a very small company right now to just see. This is really interesting. I don't know if you can see it on the screen here. That just shows a bunch of different types of essentially different data silos, banks, CAP, MRK, I'm not really sure what that is, thrifts, gold, food pro, I'm not sure what that is, precious metals, agrochemical, steel, chemical, aerospace, machinery, computer, and you see all these little sub-industries: auto insurance, small and medium business, blockchain, capital management, real estate investing, billing, trading, mobile payments, banking, stock exchanges, Ethereum, financial exchanges, consumer lending, online portals, all of this, B2B, supply chain management, logistics. It ties us all in so we can really find and identify forces of disruption. Companies would pay millions and billions of that if it's going to help them make even more. So they would pay millions of dollars. They would lock up these tokens. And the cool thing too is this token supply is extremely limited. So you have to have the token, and there's only 50 million of them. So to put that into perspective, it's pretty much double the amount of supply of Bitcoin, but it is this in the future. This could be a 4 to 5 digit asset. No joke. But with that supply, with there being only 50 million of them, and this thing is at $4.54 right now. If we look at the year to date, we've had some nice runs up. We're really far off our all-time high here. We're extremely high off of that, so we have room to peak back up here. you know, this is a really good entry. This is a really good long-term entry with where we are right now, in my opinion. We could see this thing, right, especially as more companies get on and they have more use cases. We can see this right now, you know, $170 million market cap, but we could be at 5 billion very, very quickly. And 5 billion puts us at $131. So we're at 448 right now. Just do a good run up. All it takes is a new partnership being announced or some other big hedge fund getting involved. And the thing is, these kind of companies don't really want to announce that. So to get to see something like this in the future, like I said, when the entire market is 25, 30, $50 trillion by 2025, 2026, could a data company that helps companies save and make millions and billions of dollars be worth 5 billion, be worth 15? It could be worth by then at that point. Realistically, if the overall market is trillions and trillions of dollars, something like this could be 50 billion of that. You know, 50 billion would put it at over $1,300 a token. And that's because this is so scarce and because you need this token to access the data tunnel. So this video, I want to kind of wrap it up because it can be getting too long and people like these videos. YouTube likes it under 20 minutes. So hopefully this information is helpful. I have some more stuff here you see right here. This is their vector space correlation matrix data set. This is really cool to know. I'm not going to get into all of the about it, but you see right here the overview, predicting future correlations. This is just an example of like an ETF. Bristol Myers to buy Celgene in $74 billion deal. Bristol Myers Squibb Company and Celgene Corporation announced they've entered into a merger agreement under which Bristol Myers Squibb will acquire Celgene in a cash and stock transaction with equity value. So basically, just using that as an example of like, hey, this would be like some news that came out, and now their correlations can see where you can get an alert, discover hidden relationships, and identify information arbitrage opportunities and capture alpha based on this happening in the marketplace. Extract relationships based on sympathetic, symbiotic, parasitic, or latent entanglement. So yeah, you can basically are digging under the hood to figure out how things are, how are they similar, how are they related, where's the opportunity there, where's the trend in a nutshell. That's basically what they're doing. All this other stuff looks really complicated and really nerdy and sciencey, so you know, I don't think you need to know all of this different stuff. You can find their white paper, I'll link it in the description if you really want to dig into it. Some people like that. I like to look at this stuff, but it's just trying to explain some of this, some of these high-level tech stuff. It can be a lot, and my mind is more of a big picture, fundamental kind of analysis on things, like where are things going. So I like to see the big picture on things like that, and that's why I feel like this, and you already see they're using it for, you know, the stuff that's going out with the variant is, you know, they're using that essentially. They're partnered with Elastic, Microsoft, and CERN, which is a big medical research out somewhere in Europe. I can't remember the exact country, but CERN's big. Context-controlled correlation matrix datasets for self-supervised learning, clustering, and relationship network visualization. So they're using this, something on this website, it was showing where they were building data sets to help basically map out different vectors that the virus took, and so they were able to come up with different variants. This was able to, you could essentially use this technology in the future to help discover better variants and things if we ever have another outbreak of whatever, who knows. So this is it enables you to do all that. It enables you to create unique clusters based on concepts and hidden relationships, use drug, gene, protein, and infectious disease names as custom concept column labels, and so it just analyzes all these different data sets here. You can see just using it as a cool little visualization. So that's a lot, and it does this all automatically. There's more to it than that. Finally, I wanted to say, what if we could use it to beat death? You know, can we defeat death? I got this really cool article that said the longest recorded human lifespan to date was that of Jean Calment, 1875 to 1997, lived to be 122 years old. I bet someone's maybe older than that. But basically, what if we could use this data to just analyze the immense amount that we have to figure out, well, what exactly is, like, let's take the top 5 zones in the world where people live to be the longest. I think they call them the blue zones. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, but it's like a certain term for where people come from in certain areas of the planet. They live to be longer because maybe the local environment or what they eat or what's in the whatever. So this particular, what if though you're able to analyze all that data and go beyond like the common surface level things like what they're eating, what the local diet is like. What if you could now figure out and by analyzing genome data and other as this company grows and they get more and more interest, you'll have data that you can pull and aggregate across multiple silos. And now what if we could use it to now extend life to 150, 140, 150 years old? So that's where I feel like things are going, and that's why I'm so bullish on something like VXV, Vector Space AI, because of what they're doing. Because listen, it can be scary thinking about machines controlling our lives and all of that, but essentially you see big names are getting behind life extension. And so being involved in AI, being involved in what the future is, we know that's where the trend is going. So I believe this is a great company to buy. I believe VXV in 2022, 2023, they're really going to start seeing more adoption. They're going to be releasing more exciting news. You can follow them on Twitter and to stay on top. But this is definitely, like I said, to wrap this up, I feel like this is a great long-term entry. Not financial advice, just sharing what, in my opinion, probably going to pick up some more myself at these points, because this is going to be definitely a monster to stay on the lookout for. So thanks for watching this video and digging into some of this high-level nerdy stuff, but it's exciting because it's the future and there's potential to make massive money. So who doesn't get excited about that? If you get excited about making a lot of money, hit the like button. Please help me out. Help me get this message out. It really, really, really does help. I put a lot of time into this. I want to make sure I'm saving you time. So just hit the button if you found value in this. Leave a comment. I read every one. I want to hear from you. Seriously, what do you think of VXV? I want to know, have you bought it before? Do you already hold this? Or after you watch this video, does this make you want to go get some potentially? Just let me know your thoughts. Love to hear from you. And I'll see you on the next video.